مساخة حولين تفيض حيرة عمورة على four lines down مرة هنا. هاي تبحد لو سر سكينة كمية حخامة بس شو حيت not so his knife to حخام first مش همتين اللي we put him in exile. Rabbi says معبرين and they remove him from his job ومعخسرين ده بسرعة الرفاع we announce that his meat is تعرف فلو بلقيش نما خلقة كان بيش نمتتحكم يفا. In the case where we put him in exile is when we actually check his knife afterward that it's kosher and كان بيش لون نمتتحكم يفا. In the first place, we said in the second case, if we said his meat tarif, that's if you did not find his knife to be kosher. If you goes one step further. If you did not find his knife to be kosher, you smear his meat with excrement. So he can't even sell it to a goy. How to handle there's a certain shahid who did not show his knife to the Chacham Rava Bar Hanina. Shamteva Abrei, place abandoned him and removed him from his job. Achriza Baset Refa, he said his meat is Pastayev. Ikta Mazu Trevor Shed they came to visit him. I'm really told to him, Le'aver Banan Bimilta. Do you want us to check to see if his knife is good? Like, tell by Talve, because meaning he has kids, he ruined his parnasat. Do you want us to like the so he asked them, "Can you guys go check to see how he is, if he's legit or not?" I feel bad that I excommunicated him. I had to, but I know that he has young kids to feed. But the guy, but actually, they checked the knife. Didn't say that was good. But actually, I said, "Okay, it's kosher." Aren't you worried about how did you remove him from exile? You didn't ask the rabbi. We're doing what he wanted us to do. אמר רב הונא, שאין תלישה בציפורן תלישה, a detached tooth or a nail, מותר לשחוט בה לכתחילה אלא לספור in the first place. The Gemara says, violent תנן, our Mishnah says, חוץ ממעגל כסיר ומגל, אבל שיניים בציפורן, you can't use them. מפני שיניים חלקים, because they strangle and rip out instead of cutting. The Gemara says, not a סתירה, שאינה שאינה כשאינה סתירה regarding teeth, בחדה הבתתה, single tooth versus two teeth is the difference. That what? Two teeth can get caught. Single tooth is okay. See, partners of Kasha also nails are also not a contradiction. Habit to shahab mahabaret. Detached nails, okay? Attached nails is the problem. Okay. Ashkab magak sir bidera khadi khatab. Someone slaughters a korban with a harvesting sickle and a sickle, the blade, in a forward direction. Bet Shemayim posting Bet Shemayim is pasul. And wait, Hashem Bet Shemayim is kasher. They may have a huge yeah. But if they smooth out the teeth, because there was a lot of teeth on it, I didn't it's like a knife. After she read when Bishop Bedell is a kasher, lo sure ella tahara midei and he's saying that it's tahor from nevela. However, Allah bichila asura, but you can't eat it. Rashi says they can we also see from the wording of Mishnah that the same thing applies. That we see is that that's what exactly the point is. Bech my postin betel machshirim. It says pasul and machshir. V'lo ketani bech my ostin betel matrin. It doesn't say asur and mutar. Rashi says v'lemech. That's the case. That's why you think that it's not kosher for achila because it didn't say matir. But the Mishnah should have said Bet Shemai matamein betelamach taharin. It should have said Bet Shemai says it's tahor and Bet Hillel's tetamein Bet Hillel's tahor. Ela posim ashin vosim matirin had multi must be that pasul asur mutar asur are all the same thing in machshir. So no proof. Okay, no Mishnah. Hashem is about something slaughtered within the ring. So now the ring is referring to specifically a certain point by the trachea that on the tip of the trachea there's this great ring. It's called the cricoid cartilage. I'm sending a picture to the chat. I highly recommend you look at our scroll. It has a beautiful picture of it. So now it's called the great ring because there's rings that come after it. And this completely encircles the trachea. And he left a hairbreadth along the circumference uncut. He says, it's enough to leave a hairbreadth along the circumference. It's kosher as long as he did not complete this cutting the trachea within the ring, as long as he however did cut the rov within the ring. Yeah, a sliver left. Rav Shmuel they both say "Halacha Rabbi Yehuda, halacha Rabbi Yehuda." Rabbi Yehuda lo amar ela b'tbat hagdal. You don't talk about the cricoid great ring. Hoil makafel the kol kana because that surrounds the entire trachea. But the rest of the rings along the trachea, it's not kasher. because it's not considered part of it because it's not completely encircled. وبشعرت about law, one second, if you don't, if you cut through the other ring is not good, but then it says رجعت بيدا مير هشوحت بشعرت about ultimate stores any other ring أف بيشي أنا كفيت the even though they don't surround the entire trachea هو إل ما كيفوت the rubber since it surrounds most of the trachea she ذكر شيرات كشر ومغمرة بس لا but a slanted cut is pasu meaning you can't go slanted in an angle upward or downward. Now, هيعيد بيحنا بنتيجة صاحب الرواية he testified regarding a slanted slice, shake shares kasher. Now, he sees clearly that the lower ring is kasher according to Yosef Bidam. The Gemara says, Amar Bidam, Amar Yosef, Yosef Bidam, Tet Bava. He's saying two separate things. Rav Shmuel Sarvei Kavod Bahda, Rav Shmuel agree with him one thing, the other time they disagree on one thing. The Gemara says, Halo Amar Kamar, but they said that he did not say this. Meaning they were not saying, they were saying his opinion, not their own. Gemara says, Achi Gemara says as follows: Halacha kemoto b'tbatik lo. Halacha is like according to like regarding the great ring itself. Then halacha kemoto b'tbatik lo, not regarding the other ring. Okay. Kisir b'zira. Rabbi Zera went to Eretz Yisrael. Achal megumeret Rav Shmuel. He ate from the animal who slaughtered the slanted according to Rav and Shmuel. Amar tells him, Lav me'atre Rav Shmuel. Aren't you from their place? Amar he said, Mam Amar who said it? Yosef Barhia. He said it. Yosef Barhia mekula alma kamir. He learns from anyone. Shmuel Yosef equal Yosef heard this and he got upset. Amar, he said, Anna Mikula Amal Garina, did I learn from anyone? Anna Rav Yehuda Garina from Rav Yehuda, that feels Sefekeg de Gavre Garis, who would record even Sefekot that people would mention in his name. Maybe I mean, any questions about. The Mari there it says, Amar Bi Yemi Rabam, Sefek Mashad Rav, Sefek Mashad Shmuel. It's uncertain whether or not he said the name of Rav or Shmuel. Shalosha Matinin Tabachor Mukom She'en Mumche. Three people can make a Bachor Mutar when there's no expert. Meaning, if there's no expert to say that it has a mum, but it's an obvious mum, you have no expert, you could just get three random people to do it. So we see from here that he would quote people even if he's not sure. And it was Rabbi Zera was from Rav and Shmuel. So how did he do that? The Gemara says, "Rabbi Zera read Latle, Natina Lav Hamina Vakom Sheyazam Misham V'Hamina Vakom Shalach Sham." How do you eat something that if you're from Bavel and Rav and Shmuel are from there, they tell you that sort of eat from a slanted cut. You went to Eretz Israel, but the halacha is even though there might be mekel there, you have to treat yourself with the stringencies of the place you came from and the place that you went to. Rabbi Abai says, that only applies to the same different places in Babel. Israel, or from different places in Israel. Inam Eretz Babel, or from Eretz to Babel. Babel, Eretz Israel, but from Babel to Eretz Israel. Kevin Da'an Mikafina, since we, as people in Babel, look up to and honor the Eretz Israel people as superior, you can do what they practice, and that's why Rabbi Zera is okay. Rashi says, I feel Tima Babel, Eretz Israel, even from Babel to Eretz Israel. That's only when they try to have intentions to return. Rabbi Zera ended up also but Rabbi Zera was not intention to return, therefore he became like an Eretz Yisrael person. It's like the loophole we use when we want one day holiday in Israel. أما بيد اليوسف بهرب من أمر عتب من محوزة أمر our rabbis who came from محوزة ما ربي زي مش بتربي أفهم بقول لك شيء is Islam to call kasher. So Bavel simply allows it. The Gemara says أمر له نهر نفس that is a lot of the rivers that have their own way of flowing, meaning there's a lot of opinions. Each opinion follows their own community. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish actually حدد الكبعة. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish allowed the shechita that passed it through the helmet. The helmet is the top of the cartilage by the thyroid, which is above the trachea, and it looks like a helmet basically. Okay. Karel Rabbi Yochanan heard this and said, "Gisa, Gisa, way too much, too much, too much. It's too far. It's not kasher." If the slaughterer met the wheat kernels, which refers to the cartilages which are inside the helmet, they look like wheat kernels. Does that mean he touched them? Maybe he went up to it but not touched it himself. So the word pagam, touching, could mean up to the place or actually physically touching. So we're saying if you slaughter including those quote unquote location of the wheat kernels or up to, like including or not including. Gemara says, Itmar says the matter of the Papa Breshmit Rabban, Shier Behiti, if you left over the wheat kernels, Keshirat Kasher. Marvin, كمان ربح يا دري دري عبد الله he told me she ربح يتابع كشرك دكتور ولا كي كرنس كشر أما الذين رأشي أمر الله رفشي من مسوفرا إكلام مرة من سورة العاتق في دراش مسورة went to our place and taught us she ربح يتك كشرك دكتور ولا كرنس كشر ما برعشي ما برعشي says no بقى يتك كشرك في met the kernels كشر she ربح بحيتات if I left over the kernels it is not كشر اختبها غاز she put cover the mata kishra the slanting of the quote unquote helmet where the cartilage starts to go upward and below it's kasher. Behind the shave as long as you do not take out all the cut through the weak kernel location. Or Nachman Ashram Yeshuba Kalmata, he Ramachman says the slant of the helmet below is kasher. Amara Bahanan Brother Kina Rahman Kman was according to Lokra Bran Lokra Besari, that's not according to either of them. Seemingly because our Mishnah says our rabbis Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama held that is by the upper ring, the cricoid ring. But the helmet would be way too high. And when they says back to him, Ana lo hilek idan lo bilek idan. I don't know hilek or bilek, which is another way of saying I don't know shahwar or whoever it is. Like I disagree. Rashi says actually might be referring to two different rabbis who allowed it, but the Gemara Sanhedrin that actually mentions Hilek Bilek as just like a name that you throw out when you want to say Joe Schmo. Like he's like, I don't know any of them. أنا سمعت that I know what I was taught. تمر بحيا بر عمر يخنان بعمل ذا ربا بعمل ذا ربي حين بعمل ذا يعقوب بدي برا يجب النبي مش يبوي كوب ما تتكلم شيء slaughtering from the helmet and below is kasher. بعمل يشوب النبي movement that banana cut that's considered slanted beyond the limits if it went above the cricoid ring for example. كشرة بيوسف بيدان كشرة according to him. بدي يوسف بيدان كشرة بحين متينوس is also kasher according to him. Tomorrow's pizza, of course. We already know they testified that it's okay. معاه تاني ولا تقدر بحين but it's not maybe he's only talking according to Hachmim. He agrees to Rabbi Yossi, but he argues with Hachmim. Come on, no, he agrees to Rabbi Yossi. بما أخذ نعمل that case, why don't you say he also agrees? Why you have to say like a separate opinion? The Gemara says, "Im kan ha'id aleh hamdvar." They would have said he testified about it, about the actual slanted cut. But he said that instead of saying it, he said he testified about the slanted cut instead of just saying it. See, not only shahita by Kun Hamim, but even according to against Rabbi Yosef ben Yehuda. The Hatak Rabbi Yochanan Tegmos the Halakha is according to him. The Kahar Nachman Kabatim because Nachman agreed with him that it's kasher until the helmet. Rachlam, man the man.